Hello, my name is Stephen Gottlieb, and I made the intermediate algebra video. At this point, I would just love for you to sit back and view a sample demonstration. That way you get to see a little bit of my teaching style. Then we get right into it. We're going to multiply two polynomials. Suppose you have 2x minus 3. You want to multiply this by 5x squared minus 2x plus 4. It's 2x minus 3 times what's in the second bracket. When you multiply things, the things are called factors. What's in the first bracket is a factor. What's in the second bracket, that's the second factor. Like all factors, factors are made up of terms. In the first factor, and in every factor, the terms are separated by addition and subtraction symbols. That subtraction symbol separated this into two terms, 2x and 3. The second factor, there are two separators. That is, those are the terms, 5x squared, 2x, and 4. Their addition and subtraction symbols, they do a perfect job separating a factor into its terms. Now what we need to do is multiply each term in this bracket by each term in the second bracket. That is, we have to multiply the 2x by the 5x squared, the 2x by the negative 2x, the 2x by the 4, the negative 3 by 5x squared, the negative 3 times the negative 2x, and lastly the negative 3 times the positive 4. And you can do this in any order you like. But why not just do it in the order that I just stated? I have two more comments I'd like to make. Wherever you see x, not x squared, just x, it's understood that it's x to the 1. In the first factor, the leading term, 2x squared, since it's not negative 2x squared, it must be, since it's not negative 2x, it must be positive 2x. In the second factor, the first term, the leading term, 5x squared, since it doesn't say negative 5x squared, it is understood to be positive. Okay, so first we're going to multiply the 2x, the positive 2x, by the positive 5x squared. A positive times a positive is a positive. But what I'm about to write down is the very first term. You don't need to write down the positive. 2 times 5, 10. X to the 1 times x to the 2. Since the bases are both the same, they're x's, you keep the common base and you add the exponents. 1 plus 2, 3. Now we multiply the positive 2x by the negative 2x. A positive times a negative is negative. 2 times 2, 4. X times x, you really should know that's x squared. If you don't, the bases are both the same, they're both x's, and we are multiplying them. 2x times negative 2x. Add the exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. Positive 2x times positive 4. Positive times a positive. Since what I'm about to write down is not the first term, that's the first term, and you need to write down the plus. A positive times a positive is a positive. 2 times 4, 8. Don't forget to multiply by x. Okay, there is nothing else to multiply the 2x by. There's no fourth term in the second bracket. So we move on to the negative 3. We're done with the 2x. We now go to the negative 3. Negative 3 times positive 5x squared. Well, the negative times the positive, that's a negative. 3 times 5, that's 15. don't forget to multiply by x squared. Now, if you want to know what type of a term something is, you hear people say, what kind of term is that? Are they like terms, unlike terms? Well, this is a term. I know because the minus sign separated this. If you want to know what type of term this is, just ignore the number. It's an x cubed term. What type of term is this? Just ignore the number. It's an x squared term. The last term, what type is it? Ignore the number. It's an x term. This here, ignore the number, it's an x squared term. Oh, those are x squares. I'm going to put these x squares, the x squares that I got from multiplying these two, I'm going to put them right underneath one another. Now I'm going to multiply the negative 3 by negative 2x. A negative times a negative, positive. 3 times 2, 6 times x. Now we're going to multiply the negative 3 by the positive 4. The negative times the positive, the negative. 3 times 4, 12. Now we're going to add these column of numbers. The first column is pretty boring. It's just 10x cubes. This was just side work. The next column are x squares. When you add or subtract x squares, you end up with x squares. When you multiply, things change. But when you add, they don't change. Well, imagine you go to the bank and you take out $4. And they put the $4 in your left hand. In your left hand, there it is. 1, 2, 3, $4. Yeah, $4. How about that? And then you go back a little bit later, and you take out $15. And they put the $15 in your right hand. You have $4 in your left hand, you have $15 in your right hand. You did not take out $11. A lot of students will say, oh, you took out $11. How can that be? You have 15 in your right hand that you just took out. This is more than 11. And then you took out some more earlier. $4 in one hand, $15 in the other hand. $19 I have. How about that? Oh, that's what I must have taken out. I took out $19. Add up these x's. You have minus 19 x squares. You add x squares or subtract x squares, you end up with x squares. Think of positive 8 as 8. 8 plus 6, 14. Positive 14. X's. Don't forget the minus 12. And there is your answer. 10x cubed minus 19x squared plus 14x minus 12. This completes my sample demonstration for my intermediate algebra video. Hope you enjoyed the sample lesson. Hope you learned a little bit about multiplying polynomials. I certainly want to thank you for viewing my video. And most of all, good luck in your intermediate algebra class.